G'day friends, welcome to part 2 of this full 5-year Hobonichi chat flip. This is a distress ink pad that I'm putting right there just to make sure it all lays flush and even. If you see the screen doing this, where it kind of shakes and jiggles a little bit, I'm just making sure that it's still in focus. So I will touch the screen every now and again if I think it's out of focus, because it's so chunky, the depth kind of messes with the camera when we get, I don't think we'll get this far today. Who knows how far we'll get, but I'm starting with Mermaid because this is where we left off, the 1st of May, and I figured, because I'm probably going to upload this in May, and I'm doing the Mermaid Challenge for 2024, this would be a great month to flip. Maybe we'll get further than a month. I'm hoping we will. In our first flip, we got all the way up to May, so we should be able to get a good substantial amount of the way through this journal, but I don't want to miss a thing. I don't want to miss a detail. So we'll take our time. Grab your drinks, grab your journals. I'm going to be chatting about everything. But you can see here, Mermaid starts today. This one I remember doing on a huge piece of paper. I can't for the life of me remember where that is. I have a feeling it's behind a shelf over there in some big storage folder that I don't use. And I put a bunch of other Collage Club mermaids in here. I don't think... That's the 100-day project. We're still going strong at day 69. I don't think I have the other mermaid stuff in here. I think it's a few pages in, I want to say. Or was it beforehand? I know there's a page of mermaids that I drew, so it's probably coming up. Anyway. Paris and London booked. Still haven't finished that journal. Got to get onto that. These were new washi tapes that I got for my bento boxes. Loved it. This one was my favorite, but I also love the little mascot there. And this one really did remind me of those ship flags. What are they called? Like the registration flags? I have no idea. They're on ships. This is a bunch of other Collage Club mermaids. Filmed my whole video, now can use everything. I remember that. I was desperately wanting to get into all of the stuff that I brought back from Japan, but I hadn't filmed a whole video yet. And I was like, well, I have to film it all so that I don't bring it to the camera, all like half used, and I don't know where the packaging is. And so I was just really holding off on that. And once I'd done it, I was right into all of it. This is, ooh, girl, you look exhausted. That's exactly how I felt. Oh, here's my Connector Pen random color palettes as they fall apart. I'm not sure if this was the first one. I think there's other ones, but this is a few of the Connector Pens that have fallen apart. I have an example here. This one fell apart, and so now I am still going with that. I really just love it. I mean, these were a lot of different ones, and I don't write the numbers down right because I don't think there are numbers on a Connector Pen. There isn't. It's just the color of the barrel, and sometimes they're not incredibly accurate to the actual barrel, but I do it. It's fine. It's fun. Some more 100-day project. Whenever I include like teeny tiny little things in Collage Club, just know it's exactly for this reason, to fill these teeny tiny little spaces in my A6 journal. I was visiting Steve at Disneyland. Look at my long hair. I don't miss it. Sometimes I think it'd be fun just to toss around every now and again when I'm dancing, but I really don't miss it, to be honest. Another one of those little pieces from Collage Club that fit so perfectly in there. This is a banner that Steve had since he was a kid, and we brought it back from one of his trips home, and now it hangs in my room, in my office. Here's Ms. Dumpty. She was from an Instagram live. That was such a crack up. She's just a gorgeous supermodel with an egg head. And I did an honorable mention in my 100-day project of Ms. Dumpty. That was an Art Snacks tail. Oh, here are my little, what are these called? Stamps. My little wooden stamp set. Here they are. I love using the cat the most because I was thinking of Oliver when I drew it. It's technically Oliver and Bianca. I mean, it's all cats, but it really does just look like Oliver. He looks so naughty. And more 100-day project. Speaking of, there he is right there. Here's some of those drawings. I can tell they're from 2019. I also went through this phase. I'm not quite sure where it came from. I think it was Fran Nerd. She used to do like kind of these color blocking style illustrations and then would line it in blue line work. And I'm pretty sure at one point she said she used a Muji gel pen, and I had that exact same one, so I gave it a go. And I liked it. I did it for a while. Very 2000, it like very dates me back to 2018, 2019. And there's my happy stamp. Every time I feel something, I just feel like using this and like making a happy stamp somewhere, I just do it. Still happy. Oh no, I have to reflip the whole thing. No, it's fine. An audition number? What was that for? Oh, that was my reevaluation. I have another one of those coming up soon. Very, very soon. Here's all those mermaids I was talking about. So on the 7th of May. So a week in, I guess I give the Mermaid Fantasy. 2019, I think I was doing Mermaid, it looks like. I do believe I remember those. I think they were all just simple, like 5x7 on like plain copy paper, just ink drawings, like just illustrations that I inked. I don't think, and not even inked, I mean, I just used a pen to clean them up, but I think they were all just very plain black and white drawings of fun mermaids. 2020, if Tim Burton did Mermaid, I did a YouTube video about that. I really liked that, but I don't know if I actually did the Mermaid in 2020. 2021, not doing Mermaid this year, not doing Mermaid 2022. 2023, I was already doing the 100-day project, so I just incorporated some mermaids into that, and I am doing it this year, so I'm not sure how I'll go about documenting it in my new 5-year journal. Oh, wait. 2020, I did the Merbabies. Yeah, I did. So I did it in 2021. Nope. 2020, 2019, 2020, 2024. I skipped a few years. Oh, who cares? No one cares. Here is my new gouache palette. I haven't pulled that in ages because I got this new like flower ceramic palette that I just put some gouache in, and it's much easier to reconcentrate. That was that Arteza gouache, and it wasn't bad, but I just come across better gouache since then that I was gifted. I mean, it's more expensive, so it's no surprise that it works a bit better, but you know, when you got something better, it's really hard to want to go back to the old one. Remember when we all used to use those really chalky round, I mean, not used to, maybe some people still use them, but I liken it to that same thing. You know those watercolor palettes that came like $5 for the whole palette, and they were round circles, like 3 rows of all these round pans, and they were very, very chalky. It was like painting with literal chalk, and you would finish, they wouldn't really make any of that watercolor effect that you were going for. It would just simply be color, and then once it was dry, it was just powder that you could kind of pick up off the page. And then you go to, well, I went straight to the Winsor & Newton little palette that I had, and I didn't even really know how to use that properly, but those Daniel Smith swatch cards, I had some of those, and I was blown away at the difference. And also using watercolor paper. I mean, that wasn't helping, that I was just painting on cardstock, but yeah, it's like that. It was really hard to go back to those old ones, and they had dried so much and crumbled so much. Someone did say to put, I think, glycerin in there, but I didn't want to bother with any of that. Or like a gum arabic, like an extender of some sort to make it rehydrate. That's all a bit of a mess for me, so she's old news. I feel sad, actually. She's kind of sat over there. Maybe I should just give it away to someone who would appreciate it. I'm so homesick. I want to go home and be with my family in Oz. That was when the pandemic was really, really hitting my homesickness. You know, I'm currently in a bit of a bout of homesickness, so I probably shouldn't talk about it too much. It's normal. It's not one of those things that you can really fix. I mean, you just have to go home to fix it. But I feel homesick a lot, and there are some waves of it where it just feels like an ache. Like I feel like I get, like my heart aches, and I just feel very, very, very upset. But anyway, I can't dwell on it too much because it'll make me upset, and I just want to talk about all of this stuff. Here is Mary Blair x Margaret Keane. I did a YouTube video on her. She was a lovely little mermaid. It's kind of like the crossover, like 1960s Small World and the big-eyed waifs of Margaret Keane. I just thought it would be a really fun kind of mashup of styles, and I really do love her. This is my Relly stamp for 2023, so I think the other one was in here somewhere. That's the 2023 version. It still has that retro kawaii look to it. Put the little cats in there, the lemons. I love these. I love them so much. I'm kind of sad that I only really use them for our meetups. It literally says jlbCREATIVE X Studio Lemon Journal Meetup on there. So it really doesn't make sense to use them otherwise. And also, once I've got them in here once, it's like, how many times do you put it in there? But I'm glad everyone gets some good use out of them at the meetup. And I bring the other ones too. Like when 2023, I brought the 2022 one to the meetup so people could stamp both. It does, that ink, that soy-based ink went right through my page. Of all the things to bleed, I would never have suspected the soy-based ink pad would do that. Here is the, oh, I love this. Here's a bit of realness for you. It's never too late to stop doubling down, right? Steve and I had such a massive fight, and that was the theme of the resolution. I was like, it's just never too late to stop doubling down. Like at some point we can just stop all of this and you can stop doubling down. I guess it's tripling down or quadrupling down at some point, but this cracks me up because we do kind of live by that now. That is one of the like better conflict resolution tactics that we have, is to remind each other that like we can just stop right now and, you know, keep it as bad as it is right now, not make it 20 times worse. Oh, because I love to argue and Steve doesn't, but he gives it a great go. Anyway, let's move on. This is project 100 100-day project number 78. I think I lost track or like miscounted them at some point and the numbers got off, so there's some like wonky numbers. This was at a wig store in LA. We went to go get wigs for a photo shoot that Steve was doing. Look at my sticky pics. This is the stupid sticky pics that I wanted to go to for Virtual Voyage 6, Tokyo A Go-Go. They had actual sticky pic booths in there. For those of you who don't know, it's called Purikura, which is short for Print Club. And there's, you know, 4x6 photos that are adhesive, and it's a Japanese like little photo booth, and they have these little corners like on each side called a rakugaki, which is graffiti, and you put all these little stickers, and some of them used to print with foil and, you know, holographic little stars and things on them. I've been doing this since I was a teenager. There was this, there's a whole bunch of sticky pic booths in the Capitol building in Sydney, and my best friend and I used to go there all the time, save up our money. It was so expensive. It was like $16 a go, and in Japan it's like $3 a go. But I mean, it's obviously a Japanese thing, so makes sense that it's cheaper over there. Anyway, sticky pics are my favorite thing to do, and I just love them. I love photos, and I also love all this colorful, crazy junk everywhere. They're just so funny. So I used to get Steve to do them with me all the time, and I have a whole bunch from Japan that I'd love to track down because I've literally misplaced half of them. I do have a bunch though. Anyway, they replaced it with a stupid round one version of it. Like, the one we went to, it's still the same thing, but it's just not. Like, it's not Japanese, it's all in English, and it's like all the little stamps and stuff you can put on there, they're not the crazy Japanese saying ones that, you know, are really badly translated into English. They're all like, they all make sense, and it was so annoying. I don't like that one. I mean, I'm glad there's still one there, but I was like, if I'm going to pay this money for it, I really wish it was the original, this Japanese one, because there's an aesthetic to it, and I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to my purikura. I have, actually. I'm going to get this out. I know this is not the right video for it, but if you were in Tokyo A Go-Go, I have this is what they look like. I mean, my version of it anyway. The little print club, little Japanese stickers. Here is my little Purikura passport journal. Stella and I did them in Japan. This was a new one. It was, they were transparent, which I thought was interesting. So funny. This one like automatically did your face. They do a lot of skin smoothing. Oh, this one was at the Capitol building. I went with my mum and my stepdad. These are translucent ones as well. See, this one is the round one. It just looks different. It's not the same. Sorry. Look, I love bowling. I mean, put it on there because it was relevant, I feel. But, I mean, it's halfway there. I'll give it to them halfway there. I'm not totally mad that it's there, but I really do wish it was the original. Look at that cat. That's so funny. So this is just a little passport I have of that. Can't wait till I go to Japan next time. We'll get tons more and just fill that up. All right, now that show and tell's over. I do put some screen time, FaceTime shots in here. That's how I usually track how the babies are growing. And then change my watercolor palette. That's always good to know. Here's more of those screen times. This is my newest niece. Look, Sophia Amelia. She's so precious. She's so big now. I literally can't believe that's her. And this is why I had to start naming and dating things, because I didn't know if this was Savannah or Sophia. Like, I had no idea. I knew it was one of them, but I can't tell. This is that alien baby stage where you really don't know what their faces look like. So, and I swear Savannah looked exactly like that. And look, that's Lige. Like, to me, they all look the same. All these babies look the same. But that was my whole family on FaceTime when she was just born. So cute. No, that's why I'm so homesick. All right, here's what I imagined my 5-year journal would look like. This right here. All of this is what I thought I would do for 5 years straight. Delusional. I mean, especially because it was months in and this was the first time I'd really attempted to do what I thought I was going to do. So I just knew it wasn't going to happen. But I thought if I can dedicate one page to it, then every year at least I can do it once. And ironically, it'd always be in a time where I just feel like I wasn't really into it and I had to force myself to do it. That's just the truth of the matter. But also I had like some days I had to really, push for whatever I was going to put in here because there just didn't seem to be much happening. This year I was doing Mermaid. Apparently I had some pizza. There was some YouTube tea. I was doing Etsy mailer and had my coffee. And then we had COVID-19, which is always fun to look back on. Art Joining the Magic, I do remember that. Fresh scent disinfectant wipes. I swear everything in the house had a disinfectant wipe on it. And then that was the Mermaid for that year. I do love the Art Journaling Magic though. The Pixar boxes that we painted for Virtual Voyage 4, the Lamplight Cruise. Love that. I'm going to have to reprint a lot of that because my summer is going to be very Pixar Fest oriented, working over at Disney's California Adventure this year. So I'm very excited to reprint some of that stuff and get that into my journals. I had a washi tape order as well. And I was trying to shop on this store. This is where I used to get all of my Tokyo Disney merch from when I wasn't actually going to Japan. It was a store called US Shopping SOS. I think it's still called that. And it was on Instagram, and they have a whole website where you can just basically buy, not just from Tokyo Disney, but like Shanghai Disney, Hong Kong, and a whole bunch of like Disney Store Japan, Starbucks Japan. So I used to order stuff from there, but there was this one pencil case I wanted. It was super random. It was the cup. If you've ever been to Tokyo Disney Resort, they have those red soda cups, and you just know that, they've always had them. They always look like that. It's just so iconic. And they had a pencil case of that, and I wanted it so badly, and they were sold out, and I was actually devastated about it. There's not much in this world that I feel like I can't do without, but that pencil case, as soon as I saw it, I was like right on the internet. It was gone. Couldn't even find a reseller. So anyway, now I'm upset about that again. No, I'm fine. Actually, no, I don't know if it was sold out or if I had ordered it, and then I think I had ordered it and she had told me afterwards that it was sold out. Because I'm pretty sure I was expecting it and I was excited for it. I'm dead certain that's what happened. Because then I think she was asking if I wanted to replace it with something or if I just wanted a refund. I'm not sure what I did. I'm sure I replaced it with something because I'm sure there was tons of other things I wanted, and it was probably about $30 that I could respend somewhere else. Anyway, Zumba stars, my green Zumba stars. I had 9 of them apparently. Voiceovering something. I was down some weight, which is always great. Love that. And I went to Lazy Dog. I was FaceTiming with the baby, flights to Sydney, and some dance, and my 100 bake project. I even did the blue and black alternating color pattern. So this is what I would probably show on the Instagram. It's like, wow, look what I've done, to fool everybody into thinking that's what I did the whole time. Oh, here's McBlah days. I think there's another McBlah too somewhere. McBlah, it was right here. Wow, another McBlah day, a whole year later, and this is McWinge. I must have been eating McDonald's. Here's some Collage Club ephemera. That's that wig. We didn't end up getting it from that store that I posted the selfie at. This one I had to order online. And it's actually hollow. It sticks all the way up. It's like a pink Marge Simpson wig, but it sticks all the way up just with the net inside. There's no stuffing or anything. It's quite light. But if you shake your head too much, it just kind of flops over. And there are the babies. That's my sister, my little sister. She's my baby sister, and that's her babies. Oh, I did some self-portraits in here. I was feeling my teen angst art fantasy. This is so fun. This line work mermaid. Really enjoyed doing that. Oh, I'm pretty sure I posted this because there was nothing on my schedule and it was depressing. No, it's not true, so can laugh now. They're my little corner pieces stamp sets. I love them. They were originally supposed to be for, like, if you sent a postcard or a mail or something, that you could stamp it over the stamp. So they would, like, your stamp would be here and she'd kind of be laying on top of it, or she'd be laying over the stamp. I I don't think I've ever really used them for that. To be honest, I've always put them on lines of writing in my journal. But I love when they just kind of hang on the lines as well. And I usually make them mermaids or fairies. But these ones I kept in the original form, they were supposed to be like summer Barbie dolls with big ponytails, like 60s ponytails. I just really loved that idea. But I usually make them fairies or mermaids. Here's a bunch of stuff. Pretty sure these are from Maido, the Japanese stationery store I go to. I love how I'm saying here's a bunch of stuff, as if this isn't the video where I'm supposed to explain what this stuff is. Fill in the pieces. You know what all this is, right? Everything on this page is 2023. So that's what you need to know about that. This page was empty until 2023, and I had to fix the entire thing. Not fix, but I had to fill the entire thing that year. And that was not the only page that happened to. There was a ton of empty pages by the end of the 5 years. So realistically, if you're setting yourself up for the 5-year challenge, if you're doing a 5-year journal, you don't have to have everything done by the end of the year. Sometimes you can make a spread. It looks like it fits in with every single other spread. This is what I wouldn't keep blank for 5 years. You can, but I wouldn't. I would always try and at least keep yourself diligent with filling in this side. But this side can always be just a photo. I mean, there's tons of just full page photos in here. And then there's other days where so many things happen, I had to tip in an extra page. So, you know, you win some battles, you lose some others. We got the keys to our new home. I had to set up, I hate all that. The putting up the emotional support cat documentation and the utilities, having to cross over utilities. That was all so boring and adult. And it's the only thing that keeps me from moving into somewhere closer and cheaper. Not really. I mean, I do like living here, but it's getting really expensive. So, but every time I think about moving, I'm like, I just don't want to do all that again. I'm going to spend just as much money as I'd probably save over the year, you know, redoing all that and getting the movers and everything. So we just stay. And I do love it. I really do. As much as I complain about the price, but I think it's like that everywhere now. Inflation, am I right? Let's move on. This is a whole bunch of, this is a kind of like a contact sheet for the photo shoot that we did. There's that wig that I had on earlier. This was Steve's first like styled, specifically like made for Editorial shoot. I believe I've talked about this before, where he had, it had been picked up by a magazine, and I'm not even quite sure which photos they chose, but these were my picks over here. And the shoot was called Hopelessly Devoted to Pink. This is Trisha. She was in the Rise of the Pink Ladies. Is that what it was called? I'm sure. The show that was the spin-off show from Greece on television. Super fun. We did this whole pink editorial, pink on pink on pink on pink. We had hairstylists, makeup artists, fashion stylists, all these people involved in collaborating to make this photo shoot. It was so exciting and so fun, and Steve had really pushed himself to do it, and I was very, very proud of him. He got it picked up by a publication. They were working on the article, and then the strike happened. So no, you know, per union rules, no one was allowed to advertise any work that was struck, which did include that show, unfortunately. So they had to put a pause on it, and then that show got completely removed from the streaming service that it was on. So then it doesn't even exist on streaming anymore. It was just like one like punch after another. And to be fair, like this photo shoot still hasn't seen the light of day. You are seeing more than Steve has ever shown. And I keep encouraging him to share it because there are still some really beautiful images in here. And we worked really hard. Like, do you know, we were at the thrift store grabbing all this glassware to make this stacked sundae to pose with. It was just like glue and a prayer that held all that together. All the ice cream that we had to pour up into it. I mean, we really, really tried hard. I love this huge taffeta capelet. So good. I feel like he should just share it because at this point, they still have the right to publish it, but who knows if they will. I mean, the story doesn't really make sense anymore. They could find a new angle, which they said they were, but you just never know. Like, it's almost a year old. Is it? It is. 17th of May. If that was the day it happened, which I'm pretty sure it was, it's almost a year old at this point. And his work has, you know, really grown in the past year. So I feel like, you know, sometimes he doesn't want to share anything that doesn't reflect where he's currently at. But I think this still does. This still holds up for sure. Great photos. Love them. I'm very proud of him. Anyway, that was his first. Had to document the whole thing. Don't tell him I showed you because he still thinks it's a secret. There's my new Alice, Falling Alice washi tape. She was one of my faves. I love her. And Collage Club, new Collage Club subscription in 2021. Would you look at that? Still going. Still going. I was doing a bunch of 100-day projects inspired by other things. So this was inspired by a piece I did for Paris and London. And there's my little babies, my nieces. And Oliver. I love all the cats. Although I can never tell what age the cats are. I feel like once they're kittens and then they're full-grown cats. Like there's no in between. I can never really tell. Bianca is getting a little older though. She's got a little old lady face. Her whiskers are turning white. And but she still looks like Bianca. Here's the cutie pie stamps and some stamples, which is what I call stamp samples. Whenever I get them, I just make a bunch of illustrations just to play with them, see how they work, see how I like them. I've usually already done that, to be fair. I don't really wait for the stamps to do that. I'll print them out from my computer with the file that I sent to the manufacturers, and I usually test them all that way just so I really know before they get sent off. When I get the stamps back, I do it again. These actually might have been prints from the computer, I'm sure. I love when I draw on this side too. I should remember to do more of that too. Oh, we went to Galaxy's Edge for the cast preview. I really liked that. I don't know anything about Star Wars, but I did enjoy my time in there. Here was here's a page of when I have to put I don't have to, but when I put photos in my journal and I don't know what day they're going because I batch print a whole bunch at the time, I'll have like the date and what it is so that I know where to put it. And I just wanted to include one of those in here so I remember that I didn't do this day by day. I definitely did not, see a photo I printed and, put it in there and that's it, because I don't just use that part of the paper and then put it through the printer again. I usually wait till I can fill a whole US letter size page. So you can imagine I'm waiting weeks to be able to print photos. And then I print them all at once and I get confused about where they go. So that's kind of how I track it. This is when I cut off all my hair. There's all my braids in a box. Goodbye to that hair. And I loved this photo of Sophia because it looked like that meme. Steve's texting me. Hi, babe. How are you? I'm great. Thanks, Steve. I'll not be texting you back for a little bit. I'll just be chatting. Zumba stars. You can always tell when I've been to my Zumba, the green stars pop out. This is a whole bunch of Collage Club stuff, but this is a picture I drew in the Cicely Mary Barker style. She does the garden fairies. I don't know if she's Australian. I'm not quite sure. I think she is. But it just seems to be a very Australian thing, those flower fairies. And I did this of my niece, Savannah, or I call her Hootie Bell. And so I did Lily of the Valley because they've got that bell shape to them. I love this. I think it's so cute. I probably should have just done this and given it to my sister to put in her room. I'm pretty sure she asked for that. That's why I'm saying it. I don't know where. Oh, the original's in a book, I think. That's why I couldn't give it to her. I could have redrawn it. I was so slack. But I guess I have the scan. I probably could have just sent her that. You know what? It's too late now. I did another one. Remember I told you I was doing the 100-day project. I was being inspired by other things. I did another one and I updated it because she's older. I do not like this one. I don't hate it, but I don't like it as much as I like this. This is so cute. And much more reflective of the original style. Could never read that. Couldn't read that if my life depended on it. Oh, no. Moved a bunch of stuff to the new place. You have to read it at a really severe angle so you can see the letters. And this is a bunch of blue. This is my blue phase, my Picasso. Oh, look, the washi. That feels like a million years ago. That feels like something that shouldn't be in this 5-year journal. Sometimes I have put other things that have happened outside of the span of 5 years. That definitely does not seem like it happened within the last 5 years. That feels like 10 years ago, actually. But that was when we did that Sojourner meetup. It was really fun. Kokeshi dolls. I was dancing at a place in Huntington Beach with my friend Allison. I used to go to dance classes there and was getting my technique back up to scratch because if you don't use it, you lose it, unfortunately. And it's excruciating to get back into the swing of things like that. I mean, I love to get back into dancing and everything, but there was a ton of times where I just realized that I had lost capabilities that I had before. Some of it was weight related, like very specifically weight related, or, you know, endurance and stamina related. The other thing, it was just like, it was just technique. It was just, you know, my hips had ceased working and I hadn't really, you know, stretched my hamstring out that much. And so it was kind of grueling at times physically to get some of that technique back into my body. So it was good to go to dance classes, and she did, you know, keep me accountable to that. But, and I'll be thankful for it now, but at times it did feel like a lot of extra work that I was very not willing to do. I wanted all the rewards with none of the efforts. When it came to dancing, I just wanted to go right back into it. But in hindsight, that was actually a very good idea. Thank you, Allison. I know you're not watching, but I'll just send that out there into the universe. Oh, look, accountability. Remain accountable. No one cares for your excuses. Ooh. Let's read that. It is a privilege to have an audience of people who support you and invest time and money into your creativity. Respect that. Don't make them feel guilty because you don't have time and made them a video anyway. Keep your whinging to yourself and be grateful. Signed, me, James. That is wild. Let's not go there. Look, it serves as a reminder to myself. I will just say that was actually me venting a little bit about a certain creator that I was watching, and I was really irritated. And I don't ever get too negative in here. There are some personal things in here, but a lot of the times I'll code it. That one, I think I was just so mad. I was so mad because in that time I was also very unhealthily attached to my own work and my own feelings of accomplishment and, you know, how I was doing. And a lot of my personal issues were kind of leading me to overwork myself to a point where, you know, I was taking so much pride in my work, and it was the only thing I was really, you know, not the only thing, but I was using it a lot to fuel my feelings about myself. And, you know, I kind of felt like I was just being very judgmental, to be honest. And I mean, you know what? I still am like that. Like, I can't even pretend like I'm not. I do feel like that. The reason I was venting about that is because there was just so much times that I was watching creators like making all these excuses that I felt like you didn't even have to make. Like, if it was your choice to upload the content or not, it was your choice. And I feel the same way. It's kind of why I'm so like always serious about saying I'm not going to promise anything, because I really don't have to. Like, reality wise, unless I'm selling you something, I don't have to promise anything. And even though that sounds kind of harsh, it's just the reality that keeps you and I both free of setting an expectation that we could both be disappointed by for no reason, really, because this is just YouTube. And, you know, you come here if you've got an internet connection and the will to watch, and I come here because I've got the will to share and I've got an internet connection. So, you know, beyond that, we don't really have to expect something from one another. And if I can keep it, you know, open and just about the sharing and enjoying myself, then I don't feel this pressure to do something that I don't want to do and then start taking it out somewhere, because, you know, that always has to find a place. You have to find a place to vent that out. And a lot of people, you know, choose to vent it out to the same audience that will come and watch. And I feel like as an audience member, like, I'm on both sides, right? I spend a lot of time watching YouTube creators, and I also spend a lot of time making content to put on the platform. And I have two different minds about it. The one that I'm watching is just me, the regular person that has, you know, just my own views about everything. And the one that comes to create the content is generally creating for the person that I am when I'm watching. So if I know I'm going to be disappointed by setting up a promise I'm not going to fulfill, then I can't do that. And if I know that it's going to irritate me to say, like, hey, I promise this thing is coming next week, and then I don't deliver it, then I can't do that. So we all kind of operate with this lens of, you know, this self-insertion. Like, we kind of do it for the people that we are. I think if you're healthy, you kind of do it that way, but some people don't. Some people have like completely distorted view. Like, they will be mad if their favorite creator doesn't upload, but then they decide not to upload. Or they'll be mad if, like, oh, my favorite creator went behind a paywall, and then they go behind a paywall. And it's like, oh, okay, sure. Like, it can get a little hypocritical, and that just really irks me a lot. And to be honest, it still does frustrate me. So maybe I'm still that judgmental. I'll take it. I probably am. I'm sure I am, actually. But I think in that judgment, it does keep me more accountable, like I write here, to make sure that I am not doing those things that would frustrate me as a viewer. And I generally also separate like what I do for fun and like you know, like free content that I put out here, like on YouTube, is very different to the set of rules I abide by when I'm doing workshops or things that people have paid for. Like, that is just a non-negotiable for me. Like, you have to deliver what you said. If I say you're getting 2 videos a day and I think that's too much, that's on me to fix, not for the client who paid 2 videos a day. You know what I mean? So it's just wild. I still feel like that to an extent. I don't know. It's just so funny to see me ranting about it in here, because that was what, 5 years ago? And I still kind of feel like that. It still frustrates me the same way. It's like a big pet peeve of mine, and it's probably one of the biggest ones about content creation, especially because it's in your control. I know I'm not even talking to the people that probably need to hear this, but if you are someone that needs to hear this, it is within your control. You set up what people expect from you on the internet. If you say you're going to do a whole month's worth of videos and you promise you're going to do it, then you have to do it. Like, and then if you can't do it, you can tell people why not. But if you're telling them over and over and over again, and it's the same old excuses, and even if they're 100% true and sad and terrible, people just get over that. Like, no one else is living my life. No one's going to care as much as I care about the things I'm going through. I know that's super harsh to say, but like, that's just reality. And so at the end of the day, you have to manage that. And I would encourage everyone to do so. Even if you're ever thinking about doing this in the future, you can just do this as a fun hobby and still really annoy a lot of people by sharing in a way that kind of says you don't care about the people that are watching, let alone the people that are spending money. I think that's where I just really draw the line. I can't even believe the scam of it all, like telling people you'll do certain things and then just not doing it. That's a lot. That's a lot for me. Let's move on before I start going super nuts. Again, the babies. There's going to be a lot of the babies in here. My poor brother's children. He never sends me photos, so I'm going to blame him for that. I do have some in my new channel. And they feature when I go home and visit, and they're in the photos there. But he should send me those photos. These are the little photo tests we did of costuming for Virtual Voyage 4 when we did the Monsters Inc. And these were the little Pixar boxes. It's so sad now that I'm doing Pixar Fest. I wish I had these boxes, but Steve painted them black and white to have for his studio, because they are Studio Apple boxes he uses for photography, but he kept the Coco one. That one is actually on display in his studio. He liked that one too much, which I love. The Little Mermaid, love. Today was the day I waited for many, many years. I saw The Little Mermaid live action. I love it. I actually joined the Cinemark Movie Club because we were going too often. And I was like, I need to save money on these concessions. I need a discount on the ticket or something. Like, I need to save some money. I think I saw it in theaters 5 times. I loved it. Loved it, loved it. Still love it. Oh, gorgeous. Just, I've always wanted to be the mermaid. Like, now she's real. She's a real human. I've seen other mermaid movies, but this one was just, I loved it. Great job. Everyone involved who's watching. Oh, look, there's Savannah. Look how small Lige was. These are new headshots. I make Steve take a new headshot every single time I shave my beard or lose 2 pounds. So there's lots of new headshots in here. Actually, it was all mostly 2022, 2023, because I was getting back into dancing. So I wanted everything to be as current as it was. Like, if I lost a bunch of weight, I wanted them to know, hey, I'm a little bit skinnier. Does that matter? Believe it or not, it does. Only in the performing arts can you still get away with that. Still matters. Here's that meetup that we did in 2023. And here's some art snacks. This mermaid, this mermaid is funny to me. It reminds me, like, it's very specifically reminds me of my time in the Davin Party, the Jane Davenport design team of 2017. Could you imagine if I had a 5-year journal for that period? Now that would be a free, I don't know what I want to say about that. Free is not the word. That would be a fun time to relive through a journal. There you go. There are all my words colliding together. That would be a fun time to have a look at. But it reminds me of that because I think I used this mermaid, which was a drawing I did ages before, to announce that I was a part of it. So it just has a very specific connotation. There are only like a handful of things I feel like I draw that feel like they're like really loaded with something. And it's so funny because I didn't do it for that purpose, I don't think. But I just, every time I see it, it just takes me right back to that. Here's another one of those 100-day projects inspired by this. I was ready for my new home. This is me talking about the home that I currently live in. And I do actually like living here more than the last place we lived at. The last place that we lived at just was, to me, it feels like a cold time. Like it just feels cold. I don't know. Everything about that felt gray and cold and echoey, like as an era. For the, what year we lived there? I don't even know if we were there for 2 years. I think it was just maybe 14 months. Yeah, it was just not my fave. Personally, or like at that place either. It was a nice enough place. I did enjoy the amenities of that place. But yeah, I think I just needed to get out, and I've loved living here. I think I like this one better than this one. That's true. Sometimes the original is just better, even if you use better techniques and you're cleaner about it and you use more skill. Doesn't necessarily make the finished product better. I always remember that. And I always like to tell people when I'm teaching that as well. You can spend 8 hours on something and still like the sketch you did in 20 seconds more. And you're not wrong for that. So we just like what we like. Here's some more updated headshots. These are updated body shots too, and I do need to go and re-update these because these might be the last ones in there, and that is not accurate. I'm a little thinner than this. Need to update that. I'm gonna get Steve. Oh, I got the job from this. This was this was the submission that I did. Seeking dancer roles for the 2022 Holiday Parade performers. Love it. Oh, this is the first Whizzing Artist Society. That's finished now. Oh, I love this one too. This is a Norman Rockwell style. I was figuring which artists I wanted to use as inspiration for Coco, the Coco section of our Virtual Voyage 4. And I ended up doing a whole bunch of different pieces inspired by artists. I ended up doing Picasso for a whole, it was called Coco Casso. And I did a whole bunch of Coco artwork inspired by Picasso's different periods. That was so much work. When I think about one of the things I spent the most amount of time on in Virtual Voyage, that was it. And I literally look back at it and think, what on earth was I thinking? Like, this is Picasso. This is like one of the most famous artists in the world. And I just thought, yeah, whatever. I'll just do a whole bunch of art inspired by Picasso. For my art journaling workshop, and it wasn't even lessons or anything. Like it was just content to watch. It was that C-Day content. It was stuff you're just supposed to visually feast your eyes on. And I thought, yeah, that's fine. That was insane. When I look back at it, I'm very proud of the work that I did, but I do believe that was like one of the most like intense things I've asked myself to do. It's one of those things too, like when I just said before about remaining accountable and like, you know, telling you you're in charge of it all. Sometimes I do think even when you are in charge of it, I don't know. I mean, maybe call it confidence that led me to do that or delusion, but like you still make incredibly stupid choices for yourself. No one was expecting me to make Picasso artwork for Virtual Voyage 4. Yet there I was, fully committed to it. And once I told myself, no one even knew I was doing it too. I was literally doing it thinking, wow, this is a lot of work. I still thought, well, I've promised it now, I've got to do it. But no one knew. I had not promised anyone. Like no one even knew what was coming. I'm a fool, Kim. No, I am proud of it. But one of the little sketches that I did for Miguel was a Norman Rockwell one. And I just think I've always been so enchanted by this little illustration. I think it's so cute. I had really struggled with the Norman Rockwell style because it was a little too realistic for me, and I was struggling because of making it too cartoony, but he just worked out, and I think he's so cute. I think maybe I want to get this, like, and make it with print or something and put it in a little frame at home because we just love lots of Coco stuff. Steve loves Coco. It's one of his favorites. He very much relates, and it's such a beautiful film. I should do that. There's my gran. My sister looks like my gran in this photo. We had printed that we had an ofrenda for the Day of the Dead. And so I put my gran's photo on there. But also I think my sister had this same photo at her wedding. I actually can't get over how much my sister looks like my gran there. We watch Cruella. We love that. Steve loves Cruella. He watches it all the time. Just like as background noise. I wasn't expecting too much, and because I love Glenn Close as the live action Cruella, I thought, Emma Stone, maybe hit or miss for me. I'm either going to love it or I'm going to hate it. And I really did love it. She's different. She's not the same Glenn Close Cruella. I think they each have their own place. This is random stuff. No. What was that noise? I just love this. This is a drawing at a cafe. We have this cute little Japanese bakery, and the stupid pandemic shut down one half of the bakery, and they were just using it because you couldn't sit in there anymore. I used to go in there and sit and draw and take my journals and just have my little Japanese treats and my coffee, and it was when we first moved here too, so I thought, this is going to be the life for me. And I loved it, and Steve would be down there with his computer. Sometimes we'd sit at different tables and just kind of wink at each other every now and again. It was so cute, so lovely, such a vibe. And then the pandemic shut down half of the restaurant because you couldn't sit in there. So I thought, oh, well, that's okay. Maybe after it's finished, it'll open back up. And, you know, through the pandemic, they also started closing off parts of the street and putting down AstroTurf and putting outdoor seating, which is still there today, which I love. Because I love that al fresco, you know, sit outside, eat your lunch kind of vibe. And I live in a downtown area, so there's not really a ton of that. But yeah, they never reopened that other half of the cafe. You still can't sit inside there. They still use it for like extra storage. It used to be kind of at night it would turn into like a little beer, like tapas bar type thing. But they fully closed that part of the business down too. It's just now, I think, a staff room and extra storage, which was funny because it used to be two different building, like two different businesses, and they knocked down the wall between them and put like a window viewing area and like a walkway through there. So they purposefully integrated that into the space only to shut it off again. And I can't do anything about it because they're super popular because someone put them on TikTok, and now to get a pastry you got to wait 55 minutes to get in there. So I don't go there too often anymore. The whole thing has changed. I'm not loving the change. Good for them, terrible for me. Here. Oh look, I'm leaving with sour feelings and I do not miss it at all. Oh, at all. Oh, I think they tried to take our whole deposit. I'm sure they did. They wanted to take all of our deposit because they wanted to replace the carpets. There was nothing wrong with the carpets. The apartments were brand new when we moved into them, but they just said it was customary to replace the entire apartment's carpets after every tenant. So that's what the deposit was for. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. And they were like, yeah, no, actually, we're spending more money doing it than even your deposit. And we also have to repaint all the walls. There was nothing wrong with the walls. So that was... I'm very clearly remembering the fights that I was having with that apartment building, but I'm pretty sure in the end I just left and thought, you know what, not worth the hassle. Goodbye. We are going to Paris and London. This is Pride. Oh, we made it to June. May, June. We've done 1 month. It took us, what, an hour to get through a month? We'll see how far we get through June. This is June. This is me going on my walks. I'll put those headphones on. They're noise cancellation, which was great, except when I got them, the lady next to me on the plane, I bought them for a flight back from Australia, which is, 100 hours long. And I thought, great, I'm going to tune everybody out and just go to sleep and have a great time. Lady next to me, going through it. She needed to tell me her entire life story. She chatted to me for 4 to 6 hours, and I was barely engaging. Like, I had very much the vibes of, oh, that's so nice. Okay, bye. I gotta go listen to this stuff. She did not let up. She was relentless. So I was so annoyed because I bought these special headphones to have my isolation time, and wouldn't you know it, I got sat next to Chatty Cathy. Bless her. I think she needed the talk, so hopefully she's fine. But I do just love to tune out the world and go into... You would think I listen to peaceful music. I don't. I listen to people fighting on YouTube. Not like physical fights, just like drama fights, just between different YouTube communities. Very interesting, and I just listen to that, peaceful, walking around the park. YouTube to me is... It's so funny because I put content on here that is just so niche. It's just art journaling and someone talking about art journaling and how much they love it. That's what I feel like I'm adding to this. But the platform that I use is all about drama communities and all this all these lawsuits they file on each other and defamation cases about each other and people infighting within communities. I mean, it is just the most rancid community that I feel like I watch from the outside. I have to say I've never actually participated in it, even though I get really tempted sometimes just to add my 2 cents. But I know as soon as I do, it's on for young and old. They'll dox my whole household. I'll be in a lawsuit as soon as possible. It's vile over in the spaces that I watch. But I'm just fascinated by it. I'm fascinated that people use this platform to put themselves out there as train wrecks, make money off of it. which further fuels their train wreck behavior, and it just incentivizes this chaotic, perpetual perpetual motion machine that spirals them into their own demise. Like, it's just insane to watch. I love it. I shouldn't say I love it, but I do. I do love it. It's fascinating and it's entertaining. Anyway, that was it. I finished the 100-day project. Good for me. And Pride. I did that Pride logo for Steve. Steve and I have never really been ones to celebrate Pride before, but we had a whole issue with the church that we were attending, and a really unfortunate set of circumstances that happened involving Pride Month, and like it just kind of became a way for us to rewrite our feelings about how that all went. And so, not that now we really do anything crazy, but we will actually like go to, I don't know, like a Pride event, like a Pride night at Disneyland or something. We bought tickets for that. Like, we'll actually go and do something. Or we had these little bracelets that are little rainbow bracelets. And, you know, even though it's not a lot, before that I just never felt like doing anything. And now I don't know, there's just something about it that I feel like I do want to get involved in. Nothing crazy. I'm not the most involved when it comes to, you know, activism or anything, but I do like to throw my support in and honestly just be a part of the fun of it all. It's just a super colorful and enjoyable like event. So I go to whatever that is. I think differently about that. Sister Jones said that. I always hold on to that. And if that's just like a piece of advice I could give you for today, know this, like, this is fine. You're allowed to think differently about something. In fact, most people are going to. Even the person you agree with almost everything on will still think differently about something than you do. And it's completely fine. If there is space for you to think differently about it, there's space for someone else to think differently about it. Obviously, that doesn't relate to every single topic in the world, but for a lot of them, you know, you can really choose to fight that or not. And a lot of them aren't really worth the fight. A lot of, you know, personal opinions. So just think differently about it. They can think differently about it. And if it's really not going to rock anyone's world, it's fine. It just releases me from a lot of like confrontation. Even though I am a confrontational person, some battles just really aren't worth it. So I just tell myself, well, I think differently about that. And so do they. And that's it. We were having a friend's hot tub night. That was really fun. Steve and I going to Paris and London. Look at Steve and his blonde hair. That's so funny. I thought he looked so good with the blonde hair. He loved it too. I'm sure he'll go blonde again as soon as he's he might have a career change at some point, and then he'll just be fully blonde forever and ever. Amen. He loves it. Blonde with a tan too. Like, that was great. I think he was very attractive when he was in Australia, blonde with a tan. It was like that beach blonde too. Anyway, this is me filming a self-tape at the gym. It's kind of awkward to do all that at the gym. I feel like the gym is so interesting to me. I go to the group fitness classes, and even then I don't really go anymore because I'm dancing and I don't have the time, like the schedule interferes. But there's that big open space in the gym where we do Zumba, and like everyone else is in there doing random things, and I don't think it's weird that they're doing all their own little workouts, but everyone thought it was so crazy that I was just dancing in there. I was like, am I not allowed to do this at the gym? Where else am I allowed to do it? There's a bar in there. Like, obviously someone's doing ballet here. Like, we can do anything in the gym. They just think it's so crazy that someone's dancing. And this is more of a cardio workout than most of you are doing. So, I don't know. It's really annoying. I did it anyway. It was shameless. I'll tell them that tell myself they were my audience and that they were just not very enthused. Here is, I did a whole bunch of page in 10 episodes. That must be when I started, episode 1. I didn't know I started in 2021. Good to know, I guess, for no reason. Steve did that one with me. And we were in Paris. We went to the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower. That's a family joke. We went to the Dior exhibit. That was fantastic. If you ever go to Paris is not my favorite place in the whole world, but if you can go to the Dior exhibit, if you love fashion, if you love fashion history, if you love just beautiful things in general, I think it was like $12 or something. It was super cheap. Go to the Dior exhibit. It's so beautifully done. Here's my little Mermaid sketch. I even have I think Halle Bailey has that, what's it called? Like the beauty spot just above her eyebrow. That's supposed to be Halle Bailey. Anyway, as a baby, Halle Baby. And I put Eddie Edit because Steve and I always say that. From the Little Mermaid show at Tokyo Disney Sea, they used to have it. They don't have it since COVID. I hope they bring it back. They had an original one, which was The Little Mermaid. It was like just, I forgot what the show was called. I want to say Undersea Adventures, but it's not. It was so not. What was that called? Maybe it was just called Under the Sea. It was Ariel, and it's in a theater that is it all takes place above you. So it's like you're sitting on the ocean floor, and everyone is kind of flying in the space above you. And Ariel swims around, and there's a flounder, and the flounder, that's how he says Ariel. In Japanese, that's how you say Ariel. And it was just cute, and Steve and I have always said it that way. But that show, they then made another one called King Triton's Concert or something. Like it was like a second version of that show. I like the original one much better than the second one, but obviously both are really fun. And that was one of the shows that I saw in Tokyo that like I had a childlike reaction to it. Like I was so overwhelmed seeing Ariel swimming above me, like, and she was so beautiful, and she was singing Part of Your World, and she was just swimming over the audience, and like all the lights as they come from the ceiling and kind of, you know, create this glow, and she's swimming through it, and then she would come down, like you're all sitting almost in a full circle, and there's this little platform of a stage in the middle, and she's like up in the air. She would like swim down and like swim over the top of your heads, and she came right up to me and like put her hand out and then swam away, and I had this like childlike reaction to it. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. I felt like I was a little boy again seeing Ariel for the first time. It was crazy. And anyway, so that's why I say Eddie Edu, or Steve and I say Eddie Edu, and literally for no reason, just sometimes it just comes out. Getting ready for the weekend, not really doing anything interesting there. PTSD and all of my re-experiencing. What does that mean? Re-experiencing? I'm so over. I could be sitting the most still, completely unbothered, nothing wrong, nothing going on, and suddenly I shake and sway like there's an earthquake I can't regulate because it's my body shaking. It feels so unfair. I was very angry about that, I'm sure. I do get very angry about that. My PTSD has gotten so much better. There are still some symptoms that I suffer with that are still very private that I don't speak about, and I have never mentioned online, but even those are getting better. And I do attribute a lot of it to dancing again. I think even some of the ways that I'm doing dancing has put me into situations that I've had to, it's almost been a bit of an exposure therapy to some of the issues that I've had. I cannot go into detail about that, but it's been interesting. It's been an interesting journey because I've had this since 2011, so we're like 13 years in now, and I still don't feel like I was who I was before it. I think I have learned to deal with it so effectively at this point that there's next to no symptoms left. And I have very good coping mechanisms and very good strategies to use when, especially when I'm literally exposed to earthquakes here in California. Like I've learned to deal with that. I think there was even one I had on camera that I was filming, and there was an earthquake, and I didn't overreact or do anything crazy. You know, I can kind of get through it now. It's okay, but it's more some of the side effects that I've had from PTSD where my body goes into fight or flight, and there are some very physical things that happen within my body that start to make me feel very uncomfortable. Like, and I start to, you know, not want to be in certain social settings. Like I've been really fixing a lot of that, and a lot of it comes down to exposure therapy, which is just so unfortunate. You know, some people can just sit down, put their feet in the ground and take 3 breaths, and it really does help them. Not me. I have to go right into the problem. I have to expose myself right to the fire, put my feet in the flames, and then just wait for myself to not get burned. It's a lot, but this specific sensation doesn't happen to me a lot anymore. I don't know what that was. I think it was a bit of a fight or flight thing. This was obviously, you know, we're well into the pandemic at that point, and the ideas of coming out of the pandemic started to happen around that like midpoint 2021, because it had been like over a year and a bit at that point. And you know, so I still wasn't feeling totally comfortable and safe. And oh, it's a lot. It's a lot, isn't it? Steve got so sick. Poor thing. He got so sick that day, he had to just write the day off. I got sick afterwards. I got sick when we went to London, which is such a shame. That's my twin brother and me when we were babies. Got a haircut, so I'm pretty sure I needed a new headshot. Oh, my Daisy Style workshop. I drew Disneyland Paris. We went to Disneyland Paris. And then we went to that Warner Brothers Harry Potter tour. That was great. I do have a whole Paris London vlog available if you want to watch that. And also all of the travel journaling I did for Paris and London is filmed. There's a playlist as well. I still haven't fully finished that. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I need to finish it. Who knows when that will happen because now I'm deep into Mermaid 2024 filming. Here is another contact sheet of photographs Steve took. This is actually a client who runs her own toy store. So she had all of her toys. It was really cute. Modigliana. This is an Australian icon. She's from Feral TV. Her name is Modigliana, which is so iconic. This feral cat. I think she's so funny. I was filming a self-tape in Steve's studio and I hadn't done a jump split in so long and my hips had already, like, I have this, it's not a clicky hip, but you know when you need to crack something? Like you need to crack your back. Like there must be some lactic acid buildup or whatever it is in my left hip because I need to crack it all the time. But before that, it hadn't cracked in so long and I tried everything. And I did this massive jump split in the self-tape and it cracked while I was in the air. And then when I came down, I just like fell to the ground. It was crazy. I was glad it finally cracked. But ever since then, now it needs to crack all the time. So I don't know if I did something to it, but whatever. Oh, look, no, I did update the body. I still need to update it again. Swear I'm skinnier than that. I swear it. There, I did get another headshot. We went to see the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Oh, the whimsical illustration workshop. Is that when that came out? How fun for me. My mum dressed Sophia up in these little dolly clothes. My mum loves all the traditional doily-looking clothes. I love the little smocked dresses. I love the little puffy sleeves, little smocking across the chest, like just the really classic christening type dresses. But my mum loves all this knitted stuff. I know the knitted just looks a little heavy to me. And the pearl bracelet is just such a touch that my mum would add. I swear she probably posed her like that too. She looks exactly like Savannah. I can't tell. We saw Cabaret on the West End. Drive home from where? Oh, these were live workshops. We went to Northern California. Yeah. Oh, how fun. I haven't done live workshops since then, like in person. Because then we had the pandemic. We did Creativation. I guess you could kind of say that was like a live demo, but not in-person workshops. We went virtual after that. This is the end of London. Then we went back to Paris because we were going to Disneyland Paris Pride to see Mika. Steve living his best tourist life. Steve actually used to live in London for a little bit. Here's Disneyland Paris Pride. That was so much fun. Like, so much fun. I wouldn't go again unless the artist was someone I wanted to see. Like, I wanted to see Mika. That just really made me feel like I was 17 years old again. But because I think the next year it was someone, I want to say Callum someone. I don't know. I have no idea who it was. But it was someone that I think Europeans might know. But yeah, if it was Kylie Minogue or something, maybe I'd go. I don't know if she'd want to do it. The babies. That's my little makeup kit in there that I just, the cupboard was open and I snapped a pic of it because it made me a little sad and I wanted to remember when I was dancing again, the time where I wasn't, so that I always remember to enjoy myself and to not take anything for granted. I really am not the type of person to do that anyway, but just in case, just for whatever reason, if there was ever a day where I felt like I was taking it for granted, I'd be reminded to not. Oh, look, I have my Knott's Berry Farm audition tomorrow, and I'm so excited. Pretty sure I got the job from that. Yeah, I did. Not scary fun. I had my mask on to depuff my eyes so that I looked younger before I went in. Oh, look, Virtual Voyage 4. So cute. Love that. Need to go and revisit that because I need to get some of that printables for all my Pixar Fest for this year. That was my Art Journaling the Magic lesson. Oh, just before, because Steve and I were both sick when we were on our trip, and we were sick for like a day or two each. Like, it was nothing crazy, but it just kind of wiped us out for that, especially the first day. And then the second day it was a little bit more manageable, just kind of still a little sick. But we thought, well, we don't know if we have COVID or not. So what if we don't? It was like early on in the trip. So we thought, by the time we go, like, we'll have been out of the sickness for long enough, but would we test negative? Like, would we test positive or negative? And this was still at the time where you had to test negative to take the flight. And we didn't even know where these places to get tested were. I just figured we'd figure it out when we got there, which is not like me. Usually I'd plan the whole thing, but I thought surely it'd be near an airport or something. Anyway, the day before we were scheduled to come home, they took off the testing. They were like, no more. It's like pre-flight testing is not required anymore. So we were so relieved because both of us were sure we were going to be stuck in Paris for like another week and a half trying to get home. But we got home. We did it. Not much happening here. Oh, we had to go to Northern California for a family wedding. I got that Study of Pose book that I use for my drawing references from the supermodel Coco Rochart, acclaimed top model best poser. Don't know if she's the best. She is acclaimed for being one of the best posers in the world. I'll give it to her. She is one of the best, but I'm not sure if she is billed as the best. I don't want to take that away from someone if they are. Because obviously they're watching this video. They'd be very mad if I say that. These little black cat stickers I've had for so long. I love them. They always remind me of Bianca. This is so funny. I drew this, really bizarre. Here, I'm going to put it here. I had another lyrical class at After Hours Dance tonight and almost burst into tears during the warm-up. It is a lot. Just so many memories of my old life and being a dancer, a life that was so much less stressful, if a touch self-serving. As I was stretching, I put my hands on the floor and a stream of sunlight beamed onto them. I felt God gently telling me I'm giving these a rest. I don't know what it means yet, but I am thankful for it. Now, this is so bizarre, and like, please don't read into any of this as, some kind of craziness. I really did feel like that. And in hindsight, that's just not what happened at all. Like, it's so weird. I mean, usually I get perspective on things that makes me feel like things are clear, things are, oh, I finally understand it, or some perspective sheds light on something that makes me feel like it was more positive, or there was a better outlook on something. This is one of those things that I look back at and I am so perplexed as to why I felt that, why I thought that, why that's the message I got, because it was in 2020. It was certainly not a time where I felt like my hands got a rest. In fact, that was when I started working probably the most I'd ever really worked on all my workshops, my virtual voyages, all of the content that I was putting out. I was doing live streaming. I was working for Art Snacks. I was working for Art Journaling the Magic. Like, all of these things were happening and I had never put my hands to so much use. And I'd even written here, 2015, if you can't use your feet, use your hands. That's what my surgeon said to me after my accident, because I was bawling my eyes out. I was like, I'm only a dancer. I don't know what to do. And he was like, well, if you can't use your feet, use your hands. Which is a very blunt Australian way of saying, like, do what you got to do. And then in 2020, I felt like the message I had received was I'm giving these a rest, which that was just not true. It was not true. It has always stumped me why that's what I felt and why I felt that so deeply, to the point of like being moved to tears about it. Like, it was so, I felt like that was so real. And I don't know, it really put a big question mark in my head about, I don't know, just about a lot of things. So weird, Don't really know what to think about it. I had this conversation with Steve before because I was like, do you think I just made that up in my head? Do you think I just wanted it so badly? I just told myself that, and I felt it so strongly that I felt like it was some divine message that I was getting. Like, was my will so strong that it became my belief? Like, I really don't know what that was all about, because that was 2020, but I wouldn't even say I ever really got a rest from using my hands. I've never stopped the art journaling. And that's also not what I wanted, but I did want to start dancing again. And it was years after that happened. And I felt like it wasn't even connected at all. So, a little bizarre. The Memory to Memento little pop-up plane thing that I was doing. Here's some of the stamping, the Cutie Pie stamp set. Stamples. They got a package. We sent some gifts home for the children from our vacation we took on Disney Cruise Line. Wednesday. We did that stained glass look. Here are our portraits from Bing Bong Bash, which was the Inside Out themed live party we did for Virtual Voyage. There's where those Pixar boxes. I was sadness, Steve was joy. Which, after reading what I just wrote, you could probably understand why. Do I come across as a sad person? I don't particularly think I do. Did you have sad times? Look at Oliver. Looks crazy. Double Zumba. Oh, I felt like I looked real rough in that photo. Sometimes I put the rough ones in there just to make me appreciate when I don't look and feel as rough. This is when I got my casting for Not Scary Farm for the Goring 20s balcony dances. That was my number for my callback. I was number 19. I got it. Hurry up, September. I really did feel like that. Time could not have moved quick enough. Because this was when I was going to go back. I'd done my season at Disneyland over Christmas and the start of 2023, but then I was just silent for months and months and months and months and months. And I finally had this hope to go back to dancing, but it wasn't until September, and this was June. So I was like, I still got July, August, and then into September, and I had a trip home to look forward to as well. So I wanted time to go fast, but I also didn't. I wanted to chill out and enjoy everything. There was that Sojourner meetup. That you cannot pay me enough to believe that was 2019. But it was, and it makes sense. Wild. This is Luca. Oh, I love Luca. He's in the parade I'm in now. I love the Luca float in that Better Together parade, and I love hearing all the phrases that they say, and they're just so cute. They're little half sea creatures. If you've seen the float, the top half of them is out of the water, so that's human, but the bottom half of them underneath the water is sea creature. It's so cute. It's so cute. This is just a lot of stickers filling in some blank space. We went to a Pride Beach event and had a great time there with some friends. I think we'll probably do that again this year, but make a whole beach day of it. We didn't really know what it was going to be about. I kind of thought it was going to be a whole, not indoor club, but I thought that it was going to be a club on the beach. I don't know why I thought that. There was no building that looked like that. But it was just kind of an outdoor bar area that had a DJ. So it was fun, but we spent most of the time on the beach. So I think this year we'll kind of get a little pop-up gazebo or something and bring an esky and, do a whole beach day of it. Because we were kind of out on the beach just on a towel. And then we would just go into the bar every now and again and dance and then just go back out to the beach. Still great though. Lots of fun. These were the photos that we did for the Monstropolis theme night live in Virtual Voyage. So I was Mike Wazowski and Steve was James P. Sullivan. Sully. Went to Disneyland. Dior. We watched that show, New Look. Not then. We watched this recently, but now Steve and I just say Dior. That's our French accent. Virtual Voyage, failed to prepare, prepared to fail. And there's the iceberg. That's failing to plan, is you hit the iceberg and then it all drowns. That was Virtual Voyage 1. Goodness, looking back on it, we're up to 9. That feels insane. that first one I felt like I knew what I was doing, but now that I know what I like about Virtual Voyage, that one really just feels like an anomaly. I mean, it makes sense within the context of how they all are, but you can really, it's like watching the pilot episode of a television program, and then now you're watching season 3 or 4, and you're like, oh no, everything's really into the swing of it now. Now that makes sense. But yeah, that was definitely the pilot workshop. It was fun though. These are my fashionista girls. We went and saw Rogers the Musical. That was just that summer at California Adventure. Whitney Houston at Zumba. Some mermaids. Oh, my beautiful pencils. You can see all the different brands there just lined up, but sometimes I'll just take the pencil case out and take a photo. This is, I think these are the ones I took to Paris and London though. I was really heavy on the documentation for that trip. Here's some washi tapes that were a new release at the time. I've always loved this one, this magic sequins one. This was a whole bunch of little sequins that I had poured into, I'd done mixing in a tray of these purples, reds, oranges, blues, like all these watercolors. Then I just threw all these sequins in there, and I was making all this content. Actually, it was B-roll footage for a video that I was going to make. Never made the video because there was no reason for it. I was just keeping the B-roll for something. But I loved all the screenshots that I took, and I ended up using them as the base for this washi print. And just the colors are so pretty. Love that. Oh, we're into July. We should leave it at there. We've got 2 months through, and my voice is going to go, and this is already feature-length film again. So I'll put this in here. We've got to July. Look, I'm very excited to be a dancer again after 7 years. This is a great place to pick up next time. Thanks for listening to me and all my ranting and raving today. We got a little personal in there, but I don't think it's anything you didn't know about me. I am judgmental. There you go. You found that out today. Then that's what you found out. I'm judgmental. I'm confrontational. I'm sad. No, I'm not. I'm actually a very happy person. But yeah, I do think accountability is important. And again, if I can leave you with anything today, just if you think differently about that and I think differently about that, and there's space for those things to coexist, it is such a relief. It's such a peaceful way to live. Unless you want to go have fights, and in that case, just go at it, film it, put it on YouTube, let me know the link, and I'll be watching it when I walk around the park. I'll put it in my headphones, and I'll just listen to you fight all day. YouTube is such a crazy place, but I am glad that you, for some reason, stopped by this channel and watched an hour and 20 minutes of me chatting about one of my favorite journals, one of my favorite possessions I have, this Hobonichi 5-year techo. We are over halfway through flipping and chatting all of it. This will be part 2. You'll see part 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and however many there are another time. Hope you're also enjoying the Mermaid 2024 content. Until next time, goodbye.